Roughly, how many COVID cases there are in Singapore?
It's not known because a lot of people got it, but they don't report it already.
Okay lah, you don't have to report. But those who report last week, roughly how many?
I heard that weekly it was over 10,000 cases, right?
You see, that's why Lim Tian is Lim Tian and you are Hui Hui. There are many things that you know that you don't know. But of course, cannot blame you lah. You got 3 children, 1 year old, 3 year old. Where got time to go and find out? Okay, you're right, Lim Tian. In the latest previous 2 weeks, the COVID-19 cases more than 10,000 there. It's going up like crazy there. And do you know that nowadays if you go to the Ministry of Health website, you cannot find the statistics that used to be there anymore. I give you an example. You cannot find how many people have up-to-date vaccination anymore. You cannot find how many people have minimum protection anymore. You cannot find how many people have no minimum protection anymore. By the way, just before they stopped publishing these statistics, the up-to-date vaccination was declining every day almost until it became 49% on the 3rd of February.
I am not surprised. I tell you this, I am not surprised. Because I have been saying this for the last 6 months, or maybe even longer, and ever since I started this series of videos with Hui Hui, do you remember even in my first video I said, look here, it is only a matter of time before we have a crisis. Because the world is waking up to the fact that these big farmers have not been telling us the truth. Alright? And now there's worldwide litigation, right? Everywhere. Every day I read reports of, people in this country are suing. Even the Japanese are now taking action against, I think, their government. So, this is just the tip of the iceberg, yeah? This is just starting. If you think that the collapse of the small banks in America is serious, I think it's nothing compared to what is going to happen in the coming months and years with regard to the vaccination. And of course, less and less people now are confident of the vaccines. Yeah? And I read in the papers the other day, how much was it that we had like $145 million worth of vaccines that expired or something like that? So I am not surprised. But I'm telling you, I hope the truth comes out. I am not anti-vax, I had 3 jabs. I got my COVID after the booster shot. Alright? And I have read a lot of things in the papers after that to suggest that with each booster shot, your immunity towards the virus becomes less and less. So I'm concerned. I have received SMSs from MOH to go for another jab. I refuse to, and as far as I know, it is not compulsory. Yeah?
I think that was a latest propaganda. The government say that nowadays for people who are like teenagers or in their 20s, right? If you have 4 to 5 friends around you who die because of heart disease or whatever disease, they just collapse and die, it is actually normal in Singapore now.
Okay, anyway, you cannot find in the MOH website statistics on what is the breakdown for ICU and deaths into people who are vaccinated or not vaccinated or fully vaccinated or up to date or minimum or no minimum. So nobody knows. See, at least in the past, you can tell, right? How many people went to ICU, how many are boosted, how many are vaccinated, how many are unvaccinated. Now all this, like Lim Tian say, is secret. And maybe you buy Toto,
No.
Why not?
Because it's easier for me to get struck by the AGC than struck by lottery.
Okay, I wouldn't comment on that.
But can I also say something about the vaccine? When Hui Hui and 5 others brought this judicial review application, we went to court with our data. And we didn't invent the data, right? We did number crunching, okay? The court did not accept our data. But you know something? Now I'm starting to read that even from England, there are reports emanating and they are now acknowledging that those who are vaccinated actually become more vulnerable to the virus. So, you know, I think in time to come, even though we may have lost the High Court battle, in time to come, you and the 5 other courageous Singaporeans will be vindicated. There is a long way to run in this story.
And maybe you are the odd man out because you don't buy Toto. Do you know last year the bets was a record high of 9.2 billion? Do you know?
No.
Okay. Do you know that the number of people who excluded themselves, right, because self-exclusion was also the record high for last year?
Like how much?
In the last 4 years, more than 21,000 people applied for their own self-exclusion orders.
So why are there so many people who are being barred from buying?
Not barred, they bar themselves.
Yeah, why?
Lim Tian, why do you think so many people bar themselves from
You
gambling?
see, these people obviously lost a lot through gambling. And you have to go to the root cause of why a person gambles. Yes, sometimes it can be a bad habit which that person fails to break out of. But I think also that very often a person turns to gambling because of his desperate financial situation. I don't know whether I am right in saying that, but I think there is some logic to this argument. And if more and more people are gambling, can I say also that I think one of the reasons is because the financial situation of many people are deteriorating. Would you agree? Yeah?
Actually, not just in lottery, it's also in shares and speculation as well. It was in the newspaper. And not only that, can you imagine if people have this gambling situation, they need to gamble out of the financial situation and they have to tell the government, please just stop me from gambling because I cannot control themselves.
Yes.
Then how bad is the situation is. And not only that, the thing is, if Lee Kuan Yew was still alive, he would not allow casino at all. So who is the one who brought casino into Singapore and allowed people to gamble to this extent? And not only that, HDB also reported that 40% of the people who were supposed to go and choose for their houses in the end back out. So why did they back out? Is it because they lost their job while waiting for the house? Is it because they gamble away their housing deposit and they cannot afford it anymore? Is it because their relationship break down because it was too expensive to die and have a relationship in Singapore? And is it because of all this issue, financial issue, lead to housing issue, and our birth rate went to a historic low of 1.05?
Oh, I think it is not even 1.05 now. Is it 1.05? Yes, you are right. It's 1.05 now. You know, it's crazy.
Yes. Anhui is seldom, if ever, right, but this time. Okay, Lim Tian, my next question to you is about the progressive wage model. Recently, the progressive wage model was extended to admin assistants.